Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So I apologize, for being early with this one, all right? The next stream is still going to go down, so you guys know the deal. All you got to do is just stay here. It'll take you right into the next stream, and it'll start shortly after this one, all right? So shout out to everybody who's here, all right? I'm going to give some quick shout outs. If you guys can hear me okay, make sure you guys give me a thumbs up in the chat or a radiation emoji. If you guys cannot hear me, then give me a thumbs down. We got Fantizzy in the building. Shout out to Fantizzy. We got Mike Mellis John, B1. What's good with it, bro? We got Emmanuel Carey in the building. Shout out to my man, Emmanuel Carey. We got Torian in the house. Shout out to Torian. Dope live stream. I watched that whole live stream, too, that you did, by the way. I watched the replay at work. Great work. Shout out to you, as always. We got Tone 45. Oh, and congratulations. What was it? 64,000 that you 67,000 that you just hit. Shout out to Torian for the new milestone. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Shamika. We got Alonzo in the building. What's good with it, Alonzo? And we got Lloyd Sky 9. Shout out to Lloyd Sky 9. What's good with it? All right. So we're gonna get into this. All right. The Undocumented Bros, as always. Okay, 64,000. That's what's up. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat for Torian for hitting that 64,000. We got to get Torian and TD to 100K. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to let me see. Hold on. I didn't even take this down yet. Y'all can tell I'm off my game. I don't usually be on this early, and I don't usually pre-plan. You know what I'm saying? See, I messed up a little bit. I might I didn't have my banners right in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I might have to take this one down. I might have to put this on members only. To OCD. You know what I'm saying? But the title of this live stream is Protect Your Children. And the reason why the title of the live stream is Protect Your Children is because of things like this going on. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. It was Brooklyn Queen who put this in the Discord. And I thought that this was interesting. Now, I usually talk about this kind of stuff on the Crimecast channel, but I thought that this story in particular was relevant to the Undocumented Bros Chronicles. And you guys will see why as we get into it, all right? So this is an article here from ABC 7 Eyewitness News. And what it says here is Lawndale attack. 11-year-old girl is undergoing second surgery after two women attacked her, her mother says, okay? Neighbors hosting Mexican Independence Day celebration used racial slur prior to attack, mother said. So there goes that coalition, right? The Black and Brown coalition. You know, if you have a coalition, the people really don't usually address you as racial slurs, I would hope, right? So we can't really say that there's a coalition. So when we see stuff like this going on, we have to ask a lot of questions. And if you ask me, one of the questions that we need to ask is the Congressional Black Caucus. Politicians, you know what I'm saying? Rappers, clowns, old ninjas, all of those people. We got to ask them, why do you continue to say Black and Brown coalition when Brown are doing stuff like this? I don't know if you've lost touch with reality, but in the streets, there's no coalition. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what happened here.
11-year-old Trinity Washington prepares for a second surgery this week.
My eye is doing so much pain. My eye and my nose.
Sunday night, the girl had emergency surgery on her eye. She and her mother say the injuries happened after neighbors hosting a Mexican Independence Day celebration used a racial slur against the African-American family.
That word shouldn't be used towards us. It shouldn't. It shouldn't be used towards anybody. Nobody.
So this is what Latinos are out here priding themselves doing. And while they're doing that, the Congressional Black Caucus, every other sentence, continues to say Black and Brown. Athletes, rappers, other politicians continue to say black and brown. Brown people are coming to the United States calling children anti-black slurs. Now, here goes my question for you guys. Do you think that the Congressional Black Caucus will run up on the Latino caucus and ask any questions about this or even say anything about this? And my question is, if this goes unaddressed, what does that look like? What does that make an appearance of? And shout out to DJ Elmo. That's what I'm talking about right there, Mike. That's what I'm talking about right there. Mike says, were the punk ass Blanco Karens who ambushed her even legal? That's a great question. That's a great question. Now, one thing that we got to understand is that when it comes to the rest of the world believes in violence against us. The rest of the world believes in harm against our children. They find it funny. They find comedy in this. Non-black people find this humorous. They'll make memes about it. If you ask me, this kind of stuff right here, there's only one appropriate way to deal with it. And if I verbalize that, more than likely, my channel will be deleted from YouTube. So you know where I'm going. How many people would be thrilled to see their baby come home looking like this? Shout out to my man Kid Gravity. What's good with it, bro? B1. My man Kid Gravity says, tell our people to tool up. Facts. Tell the kids how to use tools. Because they think that this is funny and it's encouraged. And the news and the media and other people in the community, they will literally get a kick out of sitting here and then telling the mother, despite what just happened to her baby, well, shouldn't you be worried about black on black crime? Now, everybody in here knows the kind of response that's necessary to make people think twice about doing something like this. The answer to this kind of stuff isn't when people go low, we go high. The answer to this kind of stuff is when we go low, when they go low, we're going to go hell low, to hell depths, to brimstone levels of low. Shout out to Denise. What's good with it, Denise?
I should use that word because that's a bad word.
A few minutes later, two women allegedly attacked the girl when she didn't move.
Two women attacked this little 11-year-old baby. Couldn't be me. Could not be me. Love my daughter too much. Love my daughter too much. There's nothing that I would be able to do that I would find acceptable that would not land me at least a 25-year jail sentence, which I'm more than prepared to do.
Should use that word because that's a bad word.
A few minutes later, two women allegedly attacked the girl when she didn't move her 3-month-old Yorkie out of their way. The 6th grade honor student and cheer captain named her puppy Barbie. Washington and her
honors student, cheer captain and honors student. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. Man, shout out to that mom. Could not be me. This couldn't be me. I wouldn't be free after something like this happened. You know what I'm saying? I'd probably be facing a capital punishment. Couldn't be me. She got her little dog. Couldn't be me.
When she didn't move her 3-month-old Yorkie out of their way. The 6th grade honor student and cheer captain named her puppy Barbie. Washington and her mom say Barbie was stepped on by one of the women but survived. Then they say the aggressor.
And they stepped on her. I'm not even a dog person, but they stepped on her dog. What's Brandon Johnson saying about this? Because I think that this was in Chicago.
Aggressors targeted Washington.
I looked up. A bottle came towards my face, being thrown to my face.
So these people threw the bottle at her face. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, make sure you guys take a moment and smash the like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, make sure you guys hit the bell. And please share the stream to your social media.
I dropped down because I felt something hard. She punched me in my nose. When she punched me in my nose, I almost blacked out because I fell again.
I want justice. I want them to see her.
Washington's mother preferred for her face not to be shown on.
See, nah. You're going to see my face. You'll probably see my face someplace where you don't expect to see my face. You need to know what I look like. You know what I'm saying? Because you need to know the last thing that you're probably going to see. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hiding my face. If anybody going to be doing hiding, it's somebody that did something like this to somebody in my family.
TV.
Everyone have been so supportive with just sharing the love, letting her know that she is beautiful. I'm just heartbroken that this happened to her.
For the girl who hopes to someday.
Yeah, heartbroken. The person that did this would have more broken in their heart. There's nothing that can be resolved about this kind of thing peacefully. You know what I'm saying?
Be a pediatrician, she says this is not only painful, but confusing.
Confusing. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Why do you think that it's confusing? I got a question for everybody. Everybody talks a lot about family structure and all of this stuff. Shout out to Retro Gaming. What's good with it? Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen because she's the one that gave us this article. So throw some radiation emoji in the chat. Why is it that we have so many people, right? These aren't mixed kids, right? This young lady here, you know what I'm saying? This little girl, she more than likely has 2 black parents. How if you have 2 black parents are you confused about something like this? This is what I'm curious about. Why was your child not prepared for the world? 2 black parents. Because that's what everybody talks about online is internet relationships and all this stuff. And the talking point behind it is preparation and understandable lessons at the home of dealing with WS. What happened here? Mother's confused, daughter's confused. 2 black parents. How's that work? People should think about that. I'm just asking.
I didn't do anything. I was just trying to put my dog in a house.
Sweetheart, you did do something. You're black. That's what you did. I don't know what to say, except for I really feel for this little girl because she's got a bright future. You know what I'm saying? And I really hope that, you know, this doesn't stop her from accomplishing her dreams.
Put my dog in a house.
The police report the family shared with ABC7 classified this case as an aggravated battery of a child.
No hate crime. Not a hate crime. Let me ask you guys a question. You guys think the mother just wants to forgive? I'm just curious.
Today, Chicago police tell us no one is in custody and the case is being investigated as Washington prepares for surgery tomorrow, hoping it will lessen her pain.
Surgery. I have never known surgery to lessen pain. That's one of the reasons why they give people pain medicine when you have surgery. So that's a horrible situation there. And it continues. Now, I can't remember where I saw this at. I think I might have seen this on Twitter. A 13-year-old was beat up, attacked by an adult woman inside of a McDonald's in California. So if somebody was attacked at a McDonald's inside of, you know, in California, then you know who probably attacked her. Ironically, in these cases, when it comes to these little black kids getting attacked, I mean, nobody knows anything ever. You'd think that it was them that had the no snitching doctrine. And I gotta, if you guys agree with Retro Gemini 91, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. We need to stop this forgiveness and embrace villainy. Facts. Super facts.
Family and community leaders are calling for justice tonight after a 13-year-old named Cassidy Jones was attacked and beaten inside a Harbor City McDonald's. That shocking video now going viral.
Multiple people can be seen in this video watching the attack. Eventually, one person does step in to break it up. The woman seen beating Jones remains on the loose tonight. Eyewitness News reporter Elena Gomez has the story.
You see that? Attacking these minors.
A routine trip to McDonald's after school turned into this for 13-year-old Cassidy Jones. Cell phone video shows a woman hitting the teen inside a Lomita McDonald's. You can see the woman pulling Cassidy's hair and forcing her to the ground before hitting her multiple times.
Like I said, it couldn't be me. Brothers, sisters, grandparents. Got somebody got to get the reciprocity. Somebody got to get the reciprocity. You know what I'm saying?
This happened last Wednesday, leaving Cassidy with bruises on her face and also her mother.
You guys see that? Facts, AJ. That's what I'm talking about. Remember that song by Young Buck? Black Gloves, Black Mask. Who remember that song by Young Buck? Black Gloves, Black Mask. That's what I'm talking about. Shout out to Jay. What's good with it, bro?
Says afraid since no one stepped in to help her.
My daughter is hurting emotionally. She can't sleep at night. She's bruised. She doesn't want to go to school because she's tired of the kids and everybody asking her what happened and making fun of her.
Today, Cassidy's mom and the community came together to protest outside the McDonald's where the incident happened, calling for the woman involved to turn herself in and for the McDonald's managers to be charged since they did not take any action.
What do you guys think about that, charging the McDonald's managers? I mean, somebody should have called 911. Somebody out of everybody there, I believe, should have, in good faith, called 911. But what do you guys think are the chances of some legitimate charges sticking, you know, filing charges on the McDonald's managers? I don't think that's gonna go anywhere. Shout out to Eddie Lee. What's good with it, bro?
I would like for the person that brutally attacked my 13-year-old daughter to turn herself in. I know you're watching. I know your family is watching.
See, now I'm going to tell you something. First of all, I don't want to be having no press conference, but if I have a press conference, I'm going to tell you like this. The best thing that you can do for yourself is to turn yourself in. If you got people that you care about that are around you all the time, and you got people that you care about that live with you or might be in the car with you or something like that, they might even want to sit in at the police station with you. What you want to do is you want to get in police custody before I run into you. That is what you want to do. It is not a good idea for you, after you've done this to my child, to be walking freely unless you're a Navy SEAL. And even then, I don't care if you're a Navy SEAL because my parent instincts have come. And I guarantee you that the best Navy SEAL don't have any juice for a grizzly bear. Because, see, this is the type of stuff right here that will turn me from a human being, a rational human being, to an animal. Now, I don't know if they'd let me say that on TV or not, but that's what I'd say. What you really want to do is you, for your own safety, really want to get with the police.
Do right. Do the right thing and turn yourself in.
Cassidy's mom says that her daughter told her that she went to use the restroom in the McDonald's last Wednesday when her friends went to grab food. When she came out, the woman in the video locked eyes with her, seemed upset, and was saying that she fights kids. That's when Cassidy says the woman grabbed her arm and the whole thing started.
There was a lot of kids inside of McDonald's. There was a lot of customers inside.
I mean, let me shut up. Let me shut up. See, this is that stuff that I'm talking about right here. Now, a lot of ladies might get upset with what I'm about to say, but that would have been a situation like it was a dude. Had I been at McDonald's and I saw a woman doing that to my daughter, you're getting dealt with like how a dude would get dealt with, unapologetically. I'm talking about while you're on the ground, you know what I'm saying? Feet to head, stuff like that. I'm just saying.
Inside of McDonald's, not one person stopped this fight. You know, it wasn't a fight, it was a beating. No one stopped it.
Cassidy's mom also said that she's upset that she hasn't heard from McDonald's to give her and her daughter an apology. As of the latest update, LAPD says this is still an ongoing investigation. In Lomita, Elena Gomez, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Yeah, so there's that. All right. So the kids are under attack. All right. So what's going on now is that we got your boy, Mayor Eric Adams, the hip hop mayor. He's got some stuff that he wants to get off his chest about people protesting the migrants in New York City. Okay. Now, here goes my question before we get this started. What do you guys think people are going to say? What do you guys think people are going to say? Now, shout out to Eddie, right? Because I hear people say this all the time. And, you know, I hope you don't get offended by my opinion on this. Eddie says people in California, New York, Chicago need to move back to the South, like Atlanta, Charlotte, Houston, Memphis. Now, if there's people that want to do stuff like that, shout out to them. You know what I'm saying? I support them 100%. I'm not a person that, you know, says that people should or shouldn't do certain things. Me personally, that's not something that I'm interested in. I'm not me personally. I'm not letting anybody push me out of anywhere where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Now, here goes my question for everybody. Everybody sees in this undocumented series, this Undocumented Bros series, how they just decide to dump all of these people into these areas, right? So now my question is, let's say everybody moves into like a regional area. Let's say people move into like Atlanta, Alabama, Charlotte, those areas, right? What's going to stop them from doing the same thing? What's going to stop them from messing with the water and everybody's all in one place like Flint or Jackson, Mississippi? How's that going to work? How's that? What happens then? How do people deal with that? That's my question. So let's just say like everybody moves to one particular area. Then they just decide to say, well, we're dumping all the migrants here. They could Lake Lanier the place. Let me ask you guys a question. Historically, when there's gangs of black people doing productive stuff all in one place, what's our track record? What's our track record look like when it's a bunch of black people all in one place in the United States? Does our track record look like Colorado University or does it look like Colorado State? Yeah, AJ says burn, burn, burn. That's like 0-3, right? Just something to think about.
Adams, I want to switch over to the migrant issue. You recently said that you haven't spoken to the president in months. This is his third and final day in the city here. But he is not meeting with you, and he's not even touring a migrant shelter. After all the city has done in the face of this migrant crisis, he cannot find 5 minutes to meet with you or even tour a shelter. Why do you think that is?
Well, we are in constant communication with the White House. The goal is to get the items that we have identified.
So that's interesting. Eric Adams is going through the same issue that Ice Cube is going through. Shout out to Mike. Mike says if we are all to one region or district, that puts far bigger targets on our backs. Being widespread is safer and a better alternative. Our economies just need enhancement to protect ourselves. Yeah, I agree with that. I can definitely understand why people would suggest moving to certain areas in concentration. And I agree with that. Like I said, you know, if people want to do that, I support it. But here's my thing. We're already concentrated in a bunch of areas, and what are they doing? Flooding the areas with immigrants, toxic water, bad infrastructure. People been voting backwards for 60 years. And you know what I'm saying? People are just now walking like toddlers when it comes to politics. Nobody really running yet. What happens if white companies decide to say we're not going to use those routes for logistics anymore? And so they don't deliver certain products. Certain places don't bring businesses there. Because in order for us to start businesses, we still got to use the existing businesses. So my question is, how does that work? And what's the plan? Gotta have a plan. See, like, if you ask me, with the internet and globalization, it's a lot easier to create a network and a value chain. You don't necessarily need to have actual physical proximity with being able to reach people and do e-commerce. Yeah, Detroit is an example of companies abandoning the region. What is white people's history of white flight? Because here is the reality of things that people may not want to hear. The reality of things that people may not want to hear is that because we live in the United States and because of the very small amount of businesses that we have that contribute to the GDP, initially, in order to get any of this stuff started, people are going to have to deal with certain white businesses. How many people own artificial intelligence companies, automation companies? Airlines. What happens if they don't let us have any airlines, any air traffic control over these airspaces where there's these multiple amounts of black people? They'll find some reason. If we move to these kind of areas, within 30 days, are people able to put in an infrastructure that's equivalent to what we're used to with our standard of life right now? That's my question. So the reason why I say that is, without a plan, I don't think that that would be effective. I think that it could be effective as long as there was a plan, which is why the first thing that I say is, well, what's the plan? Because the thing is let me ask you guys this. Shout out to B1 first. What's good with it, bro? There's been black massacres, right? Like, there's been the Buffalo Tops, right? There's been most recently this Dollar General massacre, right? But the real mob massacres always took place when there was black people together, like in a community, in a town. Shout out to Hurricane IQ, Rosewood, right? Tulsa. How many people are ready? How many people have the training to militarily protect a city or a town like that from the National Guard, from the police? Because don't get it twisted, it won't just be white people. It'll be white people and the National Guard. It'll be white people and police. It'll be white people and the Army. It'll be white people and the Air Force. It won't even just be white people. We can't even say white people anymore. You know what I'm saying? We can't even say that anymore. That's actually outdated. And when I say white, we can't say white people anymore, the reason why I say we can't say white people anymore is because nowadays the larger faction of people who are anti-black is simply non-black people. And then we have sectors of black people that are anti-black. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Eddie. Eddie says, I agree. There are better protection than masses of black people as far as getting jump killed. As far as the water, we can't stop that because we don't own the water systems. I agree. So what that says to me is that one thing, if you ask me, that people should do, right? Because if you ask me, again, like I said, my purpose of the reason why I do content is never to be confrontational, is not to be condescending, it's not to act like I have all the answers, because I don't. It's literally just to have discussions about this kind of thing, right? So I want to suggest this to you, right? Like I said, anything that people do, I support it, right? So if there was a group of people, right? Like I support people that want to go back to Africa. I'm not going, but you know, shout out to you if you want to go. I ain't gonna get in your way, right? Same thing with this kind of thing, right? I support people that want to do it. It's not something that I'm gonna do. However, my suggestion would be, before people do something like this, I would advise people to brainstorm, right? And when you brainstorm, come up with things that you need initially, right? Now, you listed something that was really important here. As far as water, we can't stop that because we don't own water systems. If you're going to carve out an area of place where you want to invest to build up a community or to build up a neighborhood or to build up a political block even, one of the first things that you might want to do, if you ask me, is look at that area and see what kind of necessary businesses and infrastructure that you need. And before anybody moves in, start with laying out the infrastructure. Buy a water treatment plant. You know what I'm saying? Get policies in place to make sure that all of the sewage and water treatment systems are intact. You know what I'm saying? Use your businesses to build up the infrastructure. Once you've used your businesses to build up the infrastructure, then reinvest that money into revitalizing the entire area. Once the area is almost like I guess you would call it like financial terraforming. You guys ever heard of terraforming? How, you know, in the science fiction, not even science fiction anymore, you go to a planet like Mars. Okay, there's, you know, Mars is okay, but we need to do a couple things. We got to plant some trees, right? Because we got to get the oxygen concentration higher. We might have to drop a couple nukes because we got to melt some of these ice caps and get some liquid water on here. Do financial terraforming. Once you've done the financial terraforming, then start moving in. Then start saying, well, now we can bring people here. Now we can advertise bringing people here because we got everything that we need in place. And also, if you have everything that you need in place through business, you already have employers that you control where you can attract people there, talented people with jobs. You see what I'm saying? So that would be one thing that I would suggest for that strategy. You know what I'm saying? Just a suggestion.
Adam, so I want to switch over to the migrant issue. You recently said that you haven't spoken to the president in months. This is his third and final day in the city here. But he is not meeting with you, and he's not even touring a migrant shelter. After all the city has done in the face of this migrant crisis, he cannot find 5 minutes to meet with you or even tour a shelter. Why do you think that is?
Well, we are in constant communication with the White House. The goal is to get the items that we have identified, and that includes decompression strategy at the border, receiving the funding that we deserve, calling a state of emergency, allowing people to work. No one should be in the city without the right and authorization to contribute to our tax base. So this is unfair to New Yorkers, and it's actually unfair to the migrants as well. No one should be going through this, particularly the city.
I disagree with it being unfair to the migrants. This is more than fair to the migrants. This is actually beyond fair. You know what I'm saying? They're being rewarded for breaking the law. So, you know, I'm just saying, like, as far as like anything being unfair to the migrants, I don't agree with that. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I know about Neely Fuller and the 9 areas of activity. Now, here goes my question. How do you move from studying to controlling 9 areas of activity in your own daily life? Because I think that we study a lot. And my thing is that if we study and nothing ever goes from study to application, it's kind of wasted calories, right? So my question is, how do we convert, quote unquote, everything that we know to taking control of 9 areas of activity? Here's another question. What's the time frame of getting control of the 9 areas of activity? Should there be a 5-year goal on control of each area? You know what I'm saying? My question is, when it comes to a lot of this stuff that a lot of these scholars, people like Neely Fuller Jr. and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, the stuff that they've talked about over the decades and over the years, a lot of the knowledge and insight that they have so much intelligence and have given us through their experiences and the things that they've said and done, the application of it. Economy is one of the 9 areas of human activity, right? Let me ask you a question. That suggestion that I had, does that deal with economy? Neely Fuller Jr. said that white supremacy is all about paranoia and control. And I think Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said that too. And the reason why Dr. Francis Cress Welsing would say that is because a lot of times somebody's career and their academic history have a big impression on how people see the world. So if I'm not mistaken, I think Dr. Francis Cress Welsing was a psychologist. So understanding thought process and human behavior are something that would probably frame her worldview, or at least have a heavy influence on it. So in terms of psychology, economy is the financial outcome of human behavior. Buyer behavior. Would you agree? Yeah, I agree, DJ Elmo. Vertical integration. Absolutely. So now my question is, from what we know about these things, we need to have control of 9 out of 9, according to Dr. Neely Fuller Jr., right? According to Neely Fuller Jr. As of right now, we're at 0 out of 9. So if you ask me, each area of activity should have a specific plan and a specific method of achieving control. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. So now my question is, if we're dealing with politicians, right? And these politicians are part of a WS controlled system, are we just banging our heads against the wall, exploring politicians and politics? That's my question for you guys.
In other small municipalities.
Well, while the president may shy away from meeting you face to face, the White House does not shy away from skewering NYC in the response to the migrant crisis, saying that we allegedly have no exit strategy for migrants in shelters. But I know you're trying to change that from a 60-day ruling to now a 30-day ruling for the amount of days that migrants can be in shelters. And this is specific for maybe male migrants.
Well, we are. Everything is on the table. Let me say that everything.
Again, now, do you see how this news lady concentrated on specifically male migrants? So just so you know, like, they know about this. Toria said, why is Eric Adams sitting next to a descendant of the Hewitt family? Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh, man.
Well, we are. Everything is on the table. Let me say that everything is on the table when you're dealing with the crisis of managing over 110,000 migrant asylum seekers, in addition to 10,000 a month. We really need to wrap our heads around that. 10,000 a month, and we've witnessed that a substantial number have left our shelter system, but over 60, 70,000 are still there. It's just not moving at the right pace. But the question becomes, why aren't we stopping this at the source? And why aren't we dealing with this as a national crisis that it is?
So Mayor, the first recipients of that 60-day eviction notice have a deadline of this weekend. What happens to those people who are in the shelter system, who already have been notified your 60 days are up?
Well, we were clear they have to reapply, and based on our availability of space, we will allow them back into one of our shelters or HERCs, but they will have to reapply.
But that sounds like you're not getting rid of or moving them on to somewhere else.
Well, no, what we're doing is properly putting in place the exit strategies that we talked about, everything from helping individuals apply for the asylum process as well as work.
So I got a question. And again, shout out to Eddie Lee for opening up this discussion. You know what I'm saying? Here's my question for you guys. Has anyone ever confronted a politician and said that we need policies that will allow us to have more control and influence over the 9 areas of activity? That's my question for you guys. Now, here goes my question. If somebody came to a politician and said that, and the politician said, well, we don't know what the 9 areas of activity. Don't worry. I got you. You show them what the 9 areas of activity are. What do you think the results of that conversation will be? That's my question.
We are going to do everything as possible, like we have done. Let's be clear on what we did. We were able to manage this crisis without one family or child sleeping on the street. I saw El Paso. I witnessed other cities and municipalities. That did not happen in New York City. So those who are critiquing how we've handled this crisis really don't have a full scope of what this administration has done and what the people of the city of New York
well,
they have done.
Mayor, obviously there are a lot of...
And I believe their frustration is real. And I am also frustrated that this city is going through this.
Right. Let's talk about the frustration, because we're seeing these protests pop up, whether it's in Queens or Staten Island. More and more neighborhoods are saying enough. You know, we can't handle this in our neighborhood. People are getting arrested because they don't want these migrants in their neighborhood. What do you say to those communities?
Well, let's do a real accurate and proper assessment. We have 8.3 million New Yorkers. So if the numerical minority decide to use hateful terms and hateful words, that is not a reflection of who this city.
Now, see, Eric Adams is deflecting right here. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Yeah, I agree, Shamika. Big facts. Now, here goes my question. Shout out to Eddie. Eddie says, well, first of all, by 2025, we will be a super underclass, starting with the migrants. But first, the area of control is labor and law, and that will take reparations point blank. Now, here goes my question. Is reparations a political mean, or is reparations an extra political mean? I think that reparations, the way that it's commonly discussed, is a political mean. Reparations, in some cases, the way that I talk about it on my channel, can be an extra political mean. Now, here goes my question for everybody. I've talked about the quote-unquote extraction method before. How many people are in favor of the extraction method? The extraction method, I would say, is about 90% extra political, 10% political. Now, here's my thing with reparations. I don't think that when people consider reparations, quote unquote, conversations, I don't think that people really clearly take into consideration who these conversations are taking place with. If the United States is a corporation, which we know that it is, that means that the United States is a person that's been around since 1776, right? It's a person. It's an entity. It's the same as talking to Eric Adams or this Texas Chainsaw Massacre descendant here. My question for everybody is, what's changed about that entity? Let's start there.
I'm very clear of the frustration and anger, and New Yorkers have expressed that, but they're not banging on the doors of buses. They're not spewing hateful words towards ethnic groups. That is not how we're showing our frustration. And I say to those who believe they're going to use violence by throwing bottles at police officers and migrants, we're not going to accept that. That's the message we sent on Staten Island, and I'm going to send it throughout the city. We'll manage this crisis, but we're not going to do it with violence, and we're not going to do it with...
I also want to bring something else up. Old documents like the Constitution still determine the majority of the law, right? Old documents like the Constitution. Now, the Constitution has been somewhat modified through amendments and court rulings and new legislation and different precedents and trials and different things like that, right? But for the most part, most people identify the Constitution as the law of the land. Shabazz asked a good question. Shabazz says, have we ever gotten anything through political means? I think tricked, bamboozled, like Malcolm X would say. I think those two things would probably be fair to say are things that we've gotten through political means. And I got to agree with DJ Omo. DJ Omo says nothing has changed. The corporations are called America, just refined itself over the centuries. Now, who are the people that the United States sees as representing itself, right? The people that are on the money for the most part, right? Quote unquote, founding fathers. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, Alexander Hamilton. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Take your pick of anybody on a dollar bill. $5 bill, $10 bill, $100 bill. How do you think a conversation with them about reparations would go? Because effectively, that's who you're talking to. Remember, the descendants of those people, there's 100 direct descendants of those people still in the government today. You know what I'm saying? Eddie Lee said, my second plan would be for it's mandatory for Black people to have $10 taxes taken out of their check every month, whether it's Social Security, retirement, employment, for our own reparations. Now, here goes my thing. People could do that now if they wanted to. All slave owners, there is no conversations to be had with them. I agree. I agree 100%.
Hateful terminologies are spewed at individuals.
So, Mayor, I know at one point you called yourself the Biden of Brooklyn. Do you still consider yourself the Biden of Brooklyn?
Well, you know, listen, we disagree on this. I still believe this should be President Biden's.
Man, they trolling him heavy. Shout out to Cameron. What's good with it, bro? They trolling Eric Adams heavy.
I still believe President Biden should be the president that continues to move our country in the right direction. I don't believe Trump administration.
I mean, this dude Eric Adams is still loyal, man. Look at this. Look at this, man. As much as Biden has shit on him, you guys see that? As much as Biden has shit on him, he's still defending Joe Biden. Eric Adams is completely lost, man. Yeah, they laughing at him. They really are actually laughing at him. Look. Look.
President Biden should be the president that continues to move our country in the right direction. I don't believe Trump administration is going to be able to handle this crisis. I believe the president has done a great job around public safety, a great job around bringing our economy out of the crisis, bringing us out of the pandemic, and we need to continue to move our country forward. I disagree on this. We need to manage this as the national crisis that it is. It should not go on the back.
Yeah, I agree with Shamika. If you guys agree with Shamika, give me a thumbs up. If you disagree, give me a thumbs down. DJ almost said that woman ain't said a word. Yo, she ain't said, I don't even think she blinked, bro. She like one of them type of people, her face gonna slide off, you know what I'm saying, and a little alien gonna jump out. Black free thinker said donut sugar is a hell of a drug. Yo, that's wild. That donut sugar.
Of everyday New York taxpayers. We were going to take $5 billion out of our budget, and the next fiscal crisis, next fiscal period, we're going to take a total of $12 billion. That's coming from somewhere, and that's only $30 billion of the amount of dollars that we can use. We have a $106 billion budget, but all of that can't.
I don't know who she is, but she seemed like Tommy Lee Jones flashed that red light in front of her eyes, and she just never recovered from it. She's sitting there like she's shell shocked. You know what I'm saying? Like she don't know what's going on. Like she trying to say, somebody please help me. My finger is in the electric socket down here. DJ Elmo says she must be Adam's handler. She might be a demon. And she don't know that like her camouflage wore off. So she right in front of the camera. She don't know she being recorded right now. She thinks she not showing up. Yeah, the deneuralizer. Here come the men in black, the Galaxy Defenders. Yeah. Whatever going through her head, that's some serious shit. Man, there's some serious shit going on in her head. She concentrating like a motherfucker, man. Damn.
Not be addressed.
And she's staring that camera down. I don't know who back there. I don't know who's recording, but whoever she's locked on to, them eyes have not moved one time. Whoever moving that camera, she's staring they ass. She's looking through the camera lens into the person who's controlling the camera's eyes.
This crisis.
So I know that you have lights and sirens when you get around town, but the rest of us have been struggling to get around New York City with the gridlock lately. Did you encounter any travel problems?
Yes, but I also believe we have one of the best transportation networks on the globe. And I told all of the heads of states that I met with and the mayors that I met with, swipe a Metro card and enjoy the full scope and the full experience of New York City. I rode on metros in other municipalities. No one does it the way New York is doing it. And remember, the UN General Assembly brings in real dollars to the city. This is the center of the world. Everyone wants to be in New York City.
Hey, well, maybe next year you can mandate the fact that they're going to have to take some public.
Yeah. Everybody wants to be in New York City, including the migrants. Man, these women on this These women, these local women, these local newscaster women are vicious, man. God damn.
You can mandate the fact that they're going to have to take some public transportation. After all, climate change is a big deal. So maybe we can get you to wait on that.
Well,
Sounds like a plan.
all right. Meanwhile, I'm angry that the governor spoke to the president and you didn't. I'm sorry. I'm a little frustrated with that, Mayor.
Well, you know, part of the problem is, listen, everyone that knows me, there's an authentic communication style that I have, and sometimes that offends people, but I'm not going to be dishonest to New Yorkers and finding a word in the thesaurus that make it sound politically correct. We're in trouble, and I'm going to navigate us out of it, but it's going to be painful when you have to look at those services that we were using to move our city forward. We're going to have to find cuts in our agencies and efficiencies. So sometimes the way I express with this New York attitude of mine, people take offense to it, but it's only because I love the city that I wore that bulletproof vest for 22 years to protect it, and I'm not going to turn my back on the residents of the city.
Mayor Adams.
He pulled out the cop card.
Thank you so much for talking with us this morning. Jessica Tisch, New York Sanitation Commissioner, thank you for trying to clean up the streets of New York City. We appreciate it.
Man, they trolling them hard, man. They trolling them hard. Man, now if that's not some mean girl shit, I don't know what is. So Kathy Hochul also had some things to say about the crisis. She's somebody else that's not really a looker. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna check out what she's talking about. Let me see. Now I guarantee you those news women, they would have treated Kathy Hochul way different. They'd have treated Kathy Hochul way different. Do you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Shana Tova, I want to wish everyone a...
You must demand Joseph Biden close the border. Close the border.
All right, thank you.
Funding. No federal funding. No work authorization.
You hear this? They not even letting her. Hey, they not even letting her talk. Y'all see this? As soon as she got in front of the mic. Now look at how calm it is while nobody's there, right? Now wait till she get in front of the mic. Watch this. It's like they it's like they turned on that Long Island speaker. Get off of the stage. Get off of the stage. Close the border. Close the border. As soon as she get up on stage, it's chaos. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please take a moment. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you guys haven't hit the bell and subscribe to the channel, please take a moment. Make sure you guys hit the bell and subscribe to the channel. We got 57 live viewers. Shout out to everybody that's watching. If everybody can take a moment and hit that like button, it'll get us to 90. So please do that. That'll be great.
Shana Tova, I want to wish everyone a...
You must demand Joseph Biden close the border. Close the border.
All right,
no
thank you.
federal funding. No federal funding. No work authorization. Remain in Mexico. You must demand. Stand up.
Man, they ain't got no chill. They got no chill. They starting early today.
New York City has been destroyed. Man out of Texas in the process. It is destroyed. Stand up and do the right thing. Close the freaking border and stop asking for $140 million.
Close the freaking border. Close the freaking border.
Close the freaking border and stop asking for $140 million.
Close the freaking border and stop asking for handouts. Close the freaking border. Man, that's hilarious.
Stop asking for $140 million. Because it will never
Thank you.
end. Close the border. Stand up and do the right thing. Close the border. Disgraceful. That's what you are. What are you going to do to end Jew hatred and impunity? Why do you have quarantine camps?
Man, listen, how come they don't show this on the news? How come they don't show this on the news? This should be on the damn news.
Shana Tova, I want to wish everyone a...
You must demand Joseph Biden close the border. Close the border.
All right,
No
thank you.
federal funding. No federal funding. No work authorization. Remain in Mexico. You must demand. Stand up. New York City has been destroyed. Pay out of taxes in the process. It is destroyed. Stand up and do the right thing. Close the freaking border and stop asking for $140 billion. Because it will not
Thank you.
Close the border. Stand up and do the right thing. Close the border. Disgraceful.
What are you going to do to end Jew hatred and impunity? Why should we have quarantine camps for all the people? What about the lawyers on their own stuff? Do you believe ending Jew hatred throughout impunity? How come the illegals?
Hey, she can't even do her speech. She can't even do her speech. Nah, I don't think that's a bad idea at all. I actually think that that's a really good idea. But in addition to that, I still think that we need to go after the government. But I don't think that that's a bad idea at all.
They're not vaccinated.
Hey, now they talking about this Rosh Hashanah. If I'm not mistaken, I think that that's a San Burrito holiday. If I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me if I'm wrong here.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Ain't nobody clapping for you. Now this is somebody that does not know how to read the room. Shout out to Carla. Hey, it's all good, Carla. I'll be there in a little bit. We almost done with this one. We about what? We about a half hour late. Hold on real quick. All right. Let me see what they're talking about here. All right, so now remember yesterday we talked about the Venezuelans, right? You already know payday every day, Carla. Every day payday. You know what I'm saying? So what we got going on now is those two mean girls telling us about what they got popping off with the Venezuela asylum seekers getting work permits, because they're now going to give these Venezuelan asylum seekers work permits. Now, let me ask you guys a question. That information that we talked about yesterday, as far as the cocaine monitoring program that the Biden administration shut down, and again, shout out to John Guillory for that article. Do you all think that that particular situation has anything to do with the Venezuelan people getting the preferred treatment? What I'm curious about is why the Venezuelan people are getting the preferred treatment. That's what I'm curious about. I want to know what you guys think about that.
After months of pleas from Governor Kathy Hochul and Mayor Eric Adams, the Biden administration announced this week that thousands of asylum seekers from Venezuela will be granted temporary protected status.
All right, so it means those migrants will receive protection from deportation and be eligible to receive work permits without having to wait the typical 6 months. Joining us.
So let me ask you guys a question. Joe Biden, who's the president, decided to protect this particular segment of migrants from deportation. Now, here goes my question. If these migrants are protected from deportation, what does that mean? what that means, more than likely, is that it's not very likely that they're going anywhere. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Right now with details on this and the impact. Ingrid Lewis Martin, she is the chief advisor to Mayor Eric Adams. Always great to have you here.
Always a pleasure to be on the show, Ro. How are you, Bianca?
Good. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Let me ask you something. On the face of this, this looks like a game changer in policy. But when we get down to it, how many Venezuelan migrants do we have in this, in our shelters right now? And how will this impact the city?
So it is a game changer, not on the level in which we need it to be, however. We have approximately 15,000 Venezuelans in our system. Of the 15,000, approximately 9,500 or so are eligible to work. The others are children. We cannot have little kids working, but they'll be with their parents. So it's a good thing. It's a step in the right direction. But we need more. We need all of the immigrants, migrants who have come here to be eligible for TPS status. Yeah. It's a start. We have people here from Ecuador. We have people.
So again, this is what this is y'all wild in the comment section. I don't think that it's a good idea for all the migrants to be made temporary protected status. I don't think that that's a good idea at all. I don't think that that helps anything at all. I think that that's actually hustling backwards. I don't think that that's a good idea at all. They want more than just the Venezuelan. Now, here goes my question. If you're not able to vet any of these people, right? They're having a difficult time with quote unquote vetting, right? We know this, right? If you are having a difficult time with vetting people, then how do you know who actually is a Venezuelan migrant versus who's not? First and foremost, how do you, what's the verification process to know whether somebody is or isn't an actual Venezuelan migrant? How do we know that? Anybody got any thoughts on that? Let me know what you guys think.
People here from Colombia. We have people here from African countries. So we need all of them to have that same eligibility status. But we do thank you, President Biden. We thank you. We thank the administration.
And that Carla got a villainy sweatshirt for her birthday. Shout out to Carla. Make sure you guys throw some radiation emoji in the chat for Carla. She's official.
For finally listening to the mayor's cry. And because of the mayor's insistence that TPS status be granted to the Venezuelan, other cities and other states in our country will benefit from it.
So, I mean, it's not going to be much of a load kind of off the show.
Drop in the bucket.
It's a drop in the bucket. And will this, because people are concerned, will this now really open up the floodgates? Will this encourage people to come here because we're giving them work visas immediately?
See, now what this woman here is asking, she's actually asking the right questions. And she's asking the same thing that we've been asking for the last couple of days since they've done this. Now, what I find interesting is that when people are asking that question, which is a popular question and it's being asked quite frequently, we're not really getting a coherent answer from anybody. No one's actually answering that question. So my question for you guys is, why do you all think that nobody's actually answering that question? Nobody's answering that question. You know what I'm saying?
We're only giving work visas to the migrants who are here as of the middle of last year, I believe it is the spring of last year, and it's Venezuelan. So it's a very specific.
If they can't vet, right? If they can't vet any of these people, how do we know the actual date that they were here? And how do we know that they're actually Venezuelan? That's the question. How can we do any of this without any kind of means or technique to be able to properly vet? Make it make sense.
Specific population. So if temporary work status is granted to other migrants, we are sure that it would be for the ones who are already here, not for ones who are planning to come here. That is why it is important for the federal government to do its job. We need them to come up with a mitigation system so that we can deport, or not deport, but send migrants to other parts of our state, other parts of our country.
Venezuelans.
She made a clear correction to what she was saying. She said, quote unquote, not deport. So I think that that's interesting.
if you go on social media, they're celebrating this. The word is getting out.
But it's only for those who have been here since last spring. It's not for new ones. So we need the federal government to do its job. I keep saying that.
Yeah.
We need Congress and the Senate to go and figure out how do we control our borders. We also need the federal government to figure out what do we do with all of the migrants who are here. We have to send them throughout the United States. The governor can be helpful. She can write a letter to the president asking for the declaration of an emergency state, and this way we would get the funds needed in order for our city to take care of the problem.
We did ask that because that was on the table of why the governor didn't.
Now, here go my question, and this is a question that I have for you guys. Why hasn't Eric Adams declared a state of emergency in New York City yet? What do you guys think? Why hasn't Eric Adams declared a state of emergency in New York City yet? Shout out to my man Mo Fax. If you guys ain't subscribed to Mo Fax, make sure you guys go and check his channel out. You know what I'm saying? We got to get Mo Fax. Mo Fax, are you at 10K subs yet? We got to get Mo Fax to 10K. Mo Fax said that was a Freudian slip. She wants to deport the illegals to other places out of the city. I agree. If you guys agree with Mo Fax, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. I agree with that statement 100%.
Declare state of emergency, to which they responded back saying she did declare state of emergency.
For the state in her power. But what we need her to do is to speak to the president of the United States to declare a federal state of emergency, and that's different because with that we get a lot of options. For example, everybody's up in arms about Floyd Bennett Field being utilized.
Yeah.
If it were a federal state of emergency, we wouldn't have to pay to utilize.
You're
Floyd Bennett
essentially
Field.
leasing state-owned land, which is not great.
It's ridiculous. The governor has a
Yeah, but I mean, here's my question. What about if you just sent them back? What if you actually did just deport people and then require the countries that are allowing these people to come here to enforce the laws on the citizens there? Like, what about that? You know what I'm saying? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And it would be great if each and every one of you guys liked the video. We got 54 likes and we got 63 viewers. If everybody can smash that like button and get us over 100, that would be great.
agreed to pay, I believe it's $22 million, and the federal government had the temerity to tell us.
Shout out to Tone B1.
So if it's a state of emergency, they can open up different federal lands, you know, in other states. They can give us money. It would be so helpful.
Let me ask you this, though, because the crux of the problem right now is the right to shelter policy,
yes,
which I know a judge has taken up, I think it was last week. Where are we at on that? Because as of right now, we still are mandated to house, feed. We're paying a lot of money for this. So, I mean, this is just my thinking. If a migrant's coming here to send money back to their family overseas, why would they want to leave free housing, free food, and take that money away from their families that they could potentially give? Because, I mean, first of all, they can't even afford rent here. Number one, we just said that 0 apartments that are starting at $1,500. Like, I don't understand this.
Well, first of all, many of the migrants do want to work.
Yeah.
And we find that people, when they migrate here.
Okay, where are they going to work at? Now, what I'm about to start doing is what I'm about to start doing is I'm about to start covering what's going on with the auto workers union, because I think that one of the things that's going to end up happening is I think that these influxes of migrants are going to get placed into the automotive industry and replace a lot of these people who are striking as a result of wage. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys would be interested in me covering the union strikes and what's going on with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys wouldn't, then give me a thumbs down. And I agree, DJ Elmo. I agree with you. If you guys agree, oops, shout out to DSB. What's good with it, bro? If you guys agree with DJ Elmo, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. I agree 100%. And shout out to DSB. DSB says to those 63 who haven't hit that like button, if you don't hit that like button right now, you're an undocumented bro supporter. Don't you guys want to be documented? That's a good point. Yo, shout out to DSB. That's a good point. Do you want to be an undocumented viewer? If you smash the like button and if you subscribe, you're at least documenting that you are enjoying the content. If you just cloud watch and you don't subscribe or you don't hit the like button, you're part of the problem. You're undocumented. Don't you want some papers? You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button and document your like. Document your support.
Immigrate here, as I say, because they're immigrating from one region to another region. They live together. Yeah. So, for example, they may be roommates, so they can afford the rent if they're working as roommates. It's hard to find apartments, but we would help them through that process. The right to shelter is something that we're arguing in court. We believe that it is for our indigenous homeless population, not for the world. And I think the governor feels the same way. So hopefully that's something that we can partner on. And we need to get legal aid on board with that.
Let's talk about the work authorizations.
Shout out to Denise for being documented. You know what I'm saying? Definitely appreciate the documentation. Document your support for the video with a like.
How is that process going to work? As you know, the city was criticized about DocGo, right? Who was doing your intake with the immigrants right now. Who's going to do these work authorizations now? Are you up to speed? How long is this going to take?
Okay, so right now we're putting a plan into place and we are handling that process. We are hopeful because we heard on the news that the governor said she would send workers to come with us.
So you only heard on the news?
I heard it on the news.
Okay.
But to be fair, her team does talk to other people in the administration and maybe it didn't filter down yet. So, but we did hear it, and we do believe that if she's making that announcement, that she would keep her word. So it was good news. What we need to understand about this work authorization, which is troubling, is that if people fill the paperwork out by free,
hey, hey, shout out to this lady that I used to work with named Barb. Man, this lady right here reminds me of Barb, except for Barb was one of them she was ghetto and from New York. Man, she used to have me dying laughing, man. Like she used to serve she used to serve food where I worked at, and I was the only person that she was nice to. Man, she would dog anybody, like she would dog everybody else for no reason. She was one of them people that when you order food, like she would pick the food up with the scoop, and like that shit was like on some sports commentary show. In slow motion, she would take it all the way up in the air and then slop that shit hard as hell on the plate and then eyeball you like, you want anything else? You want any more? And she had the New York accent, so she'd be like, you want any more? Oh, you want some green beans? Okay. Then she'd slop the green beans on the plate. Oh, you want gravy too? You want gravy too? You want brown or you want white? Brown or white? Are you fucking deaf? Brown or white? Man, like she would go in on people for no reason. She was New York for like she had to be like, she wasn't from like no decent part of New York. She had to be like from East New York or some shit. You know what I'm saying? She used to go in for no reason. But she was cool as hell to me though. She always looked out. You know what I'm saying? Gave your boy, you know what I'm saying, good portions of food. But she had me dying laughing. But she looked exactly like this lady. They could be sisters, except for Barb will be the evil sister. Barb will be like the evil ratchet sister. And this was the one that was like professional, you know what I'm saying, that got a job and all that. How did she get? She was good at her job. Bro, she was good. She could get everything done like in record time. And I think the reason why she was able to get it done in record time was because like she had everybody shook. Didn't nobody want to mess with her? Wasn't nobody asking for seconds? Would nobody bring their plates back up and be like, you messed this up? Hell no. And she was like 6 feet tall. She had that little intimidation thing where she would come from behind the counter and like be like, now what'd you say? I didn't hear you. Like looking down at people because she was tall as hell. Now I'm 6 feet tall, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, she would be eye to eye with me. But with everybody else, she'd be looking straight down at him like, what you say? I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you. What? What was that? What? Oh, man. Shout out to Barb. I wonder how she's doing.
Let me get it back. If people fill out the work authorization through paper, it's for free. But it takes a much longer period of time. If they fill it out online, it's expeditious. However, there's a cost. It's $400 plus $410.
Why?
So we're concerned about that. Yeah. We're hoping that the government, the federal government, will find it fit to waive the cost of the online procedure. And we're training our team. We're getting them ready and poised to help fill out those applications. And we have already been doing that. We have some legal
B1 Black Spider was
the
good.
Private sector who's been sending us volunteer lawyers.
Is that not absurd? $450 to fill out this application online?
I feel like it's a deterrent. It's a deterrent.
Why?
We should ask the federal government that, and that's our question. So we want them to waive that fee. But the private,
they want to give them more free stuff. Waive the fee. Shout out to the 6 Foot Plus Club. You know what I'm saying? DSB 6'1".
this sector has been awesome with us, and they've been giving us lawyers to work with our team to help fill out the paperwork.
Man.
All right.
Bad luck with the federal government.
It's a lot to talk about. Ingrid Lewis Martin, thank you so much for coming
having
up.
me.
All right, so man, that's a bad picture of that lady. Look like she just had a, and I'm talking about that white lady. Look like she had a stroke. But anyway, so now here goes the thing, right? So to all of the people who plan on voting for Trump, right? Because you know, there's some people that watch the channel that are gonna be voting for Trump, that support Trump. You know what I'm saying? What Trump says is that if he gets elected, he's going to enact the largest the largest deportation in American history. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton. What's good with it, bro? And shout out to LJ007. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to my man D-Buck over there on Twitch. D-Buck says, usually people with that outward image are very good, protective, and loyal to the few that take the time to get closer to them. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's exactly how Barb was. If you was cool with Barb and you did right by her, man, she had you. She had your back. You know what I'm saying? But like if she didn't know you all like that, man, what? You know what I'm saying?
On my inauguration, I will terminate every open border policy of the Biden administration.
All right, so this is what Trump claims that he's selling, right? What Trump claims that he's selling, you know what I'm saying, is that he's going to reverse all of the Biden administration border policies. Now, let me ask you guys a question. How does that sound to you guys? Because see, here's the thing that I think that people should understand. And this is my advice to my Trump supporters out here. You know what I'm saying? Because we have Trump supporters out here, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. There's a difference between a black person that plans on voting for Trump and a conservative. There's a big difference. You know what I'm saying? I want to just make sure that I put that out there. To the people that plan on voting for Trump, I would like to advise this. Never mistake a trickle-down policy for a quote-unquote specifically black policy. Always make sure that you draw a very hard dividing line down policies that are good, right? And then policies that are good for black people. Remember, Trump may be doing this, but he's not doing it for us. It's just like the Civil War. The Civil War is some shit that happened. It wasn't fought because people love black people so much. It's just some shit that happened. So when people start adding these things up, you know what I'm saying? And they say, oh, well, quote unquote, you know, is Trump this or that? Because people always ask these redundant questions. Is Trump good for black people? You know what I'm saying? You're going to see those videos start popping up all over the place. Is Trump good for black people? Is being a conservative good for black people? If the things that are being done do not necessarily address, shout out to Eddie, 9 areas of activity or specific disparities that we have going on, do not mix those things up as policies that were done specifically for a black voter base. These are trickle-down policies that are overall good. Overall good is not something that you should say was done for you. Overall good is something that everybody should say is done for America. It doesn't matter if that trickle-down benefit has a better effect on you or not. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Torian. Torian said, the 3 clowns I went in on yesterday is proof black conservatives are not the wave. You know what else is proof of? It's proof of everything that we've said about these clowns. All of the anti-black talking points that black conservatives have are based off of self-deficiencies and projections that they have of their own selves, that they're ashamed of, that they're afraid of, that they are sensitive about, that they want to project onto everybody else to try to normalize how deficient they are. Officer Tatum is an idiot. Jason Whitlock is a scorned clown who had poor people's aggression when he was playing in athletics. And Larry Elder has daddy issues. You know what I'm saying? Officer Tatum is an idiot. I slept through college and graduated magna cum laude. This dude had a full scholarship and still had to be artificially boosted to a 3.0. You're an idiot. And I guarantee you that he wasn't going for a difficult degree program either. I bet you the highest level of math he took was college algebra. Torian's microphone got on demon time yesterday. Who heard that shit? I was like, okay, Torian, you embrace villainy out this motherfucker. Torian turned into Devastator from the Transformers and shit, just out of the clear blue sky in the middle of the stream and shit. Then he tried to blame the computer. He said, my content combined has created the most powerful B1 content creator. All of my videos combined, I have become the most powerful B1 content creator. I was like, okay, that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, this nigga really did embrace villainy. Shit, voice change and everything. That's what's good.
I will terminate every open border policy of the Biden administration and commence the largest deportation operation in American history. We have no choice. This is not sustainable. You don't have to know very much.
And I thought it was legit. I thought it was real too, like for real, because he was on the Larry Elder one. You know what I'm saying? And Larry Elder just bring that shit out of you. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Jim's Eye View. Yo, hey, make sure y'all go check out Jim's Eye View's channel too. Shout out to Jim's Eye View with the super sticker. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat for her. Make sure y'all show her some love. That shit had me dying laughing. I was like, man, Larry Elder really brought the villain to the surface. Like the microphone changed frequencies and everything. Torian was like, we have now come to the final bedbuck. This bitch ass nigga named Larry Elder. I'm gonna burn him with some hot syrup on them damn biscuits. I was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Krang them let Torian out of Dimension X. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man.
Much to know. I looked at Tucson, Arizona today. Did you see that? Thousands and thousands of people all over. People walk out of their house, they say, what's happened to our beautiful place? But this is in many towns and cities all over. Look at New York City. But, you see New York, but you don't see other places so much. And it's happening like that. Much worse, actually, much worse. This is not sustainable. No country can sustain it or financially can sustain it. Nobody could possibly sustain something like this. And they're putting young children.
Man, I'm sure he had lackluster stats. He had lackluster grades. Officer Tatum is just lackluster at everything. The dude is just lackluster. He's just a lackluster dude. You know what I'm saying? He's just lackluster. You know what I'm saying?
Children into schools who don't speak any English, and they're in school. Nobody is there to teach them. They're sitting in class. They don't understand anything that's going on in the school. It's a horrible situation, and it would have never happened. And it should. We had the strong.
Yeah, that's big facts. That's big facts, D-Buck. D-Buck said, don't even get me started on Whitlock. What an idiot. Made a career trying to tarnish Kobe's legacy. Then when he died, acted like he never did all that BS, and they were BFF. So no, his bullshit against Prime shouldn't surprise anyone. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%.
Longest border in history. Now we have the worst border in the history of the world. There's never been a third world country that had a border like this, ever. There's never been anything like it. We built nearly 500 miles of border wall. You know, they like to say we built 57 miles. No, we built over 500. In fact, if you...
So now let me ask, I want to ask you guys a question. Is there any candidate that you all feel has any policies, whether those policies are quote unquote specifically black, or any trickle down policies that would provide the best value for anybody? That's my question.
Look at the various government statistics. We did a great job. And I had to fight Paul Ryan. I call him Paul Rhino. But I had to fight Paul Rhino, and I had to fight Mitch McConnell, another beauty. And I ended up taking the money out of the military. I said, it's an invasion. I'm sorry. And we built 500 miles of wall, which is what it is. It's an invasion. And then was ready to do another. We had already the wall built, and we were going to add another 200. I wanted to do 5. We did 5. I was going to add another 200. We built it. It was all set. All we had to do was erect it. Very simple. Could have been done in 3 to 4 weeks. And then we had the election situation, and they took over, and they actually took it away and put it in faraway places. And Texas wanted to buy it and put it up, and they wouldn't sell it to them. And Arizona wanted to buy it and put it up, and they wouldn't sell it to them. But we got Mexico to give us 28,000 soldiers free of charge. That was an amazing thing. I went to the State Department. I said, Mexico has to do this. They have to do this. And they said, they'll never do it, sir. I said, yes, they will, 100%. And we had a little negotiation with Mexico. And I said to them, listen, if you don't do it, they said, no, we're not going to do it under any circumstances. And I happen to like the president of Mexico, even though he's...
I actually agree with Eddie 100%. Eddie says Trump can trick black people with deportation. He will continue building the wall, but keep the already migrants in America because Trump and Biden will work both sides together. They are no different. I agree 100%. 100%. If you guys agree with Eddie, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with Eddie, then give me a thumbs down.
He's a socialist, but you can't have everything, right? I like him. He's a good man, but he's a little different than my way of thinking. And I said, no, you're going to do it. And I met with their top representative, and he sort of laughed at me when I said, you're going to give us 28,000 soldiers free of charge. And he said, no, we're not going to do that. I said, here's the story. I have in front of me a piece.
Now, here goes my question, right? How many candidates are talking about dealing with the cartel? How many candidates are talking about dealing with the cartel? Based on what we talked about yesterday, do you all think that the cartel is something that people should kind of be looking at? Believe it or not, if you guys go back and watch the RNC debate, Vivek Ramaswamy and Ron DeSantis talked about using military action against the cartel. Those were the only two that I've heard so far. Now, I'm not interested in Ramaswamy and I'm not interested in Ron DeSantis, but I do think that there needs to be some action done against the cartel. And what I'm curious about is why other candidates aren't talking about it. So let me know what you guys think.
Piece of paper. And the paper says very strongly that on Monday morning at 7 o'clock, you're going to be charged 25% tariffs on all of the cars that you're sending into the United States. You know, they took 32% of our automobile business prior to us getting there. 32%. They send millions.
Now, RJ Quick, shout out to RJ Quick. RJ Quick says that's where your fentanyl's coming from. That's also where the migrants are coming from. at least according to the information that we looked at yesterday. If you guys haven't seen the streams from yesterday, make sure that you guys check those replays out when you get a chance. But the information that we talked about yesterday, for the most part, damn near confirmed that the cartel is responsible for a lot of the infiltration that's going on at the southern border and the coordination. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a thought. And honestly, even talking about extra political means, knowing that those are the kinds of people and those are the people that they're bringing into the United States, one thing that, if you ask me, people might want to start doing is people are going to really want to start being prepared to defend themselves. If you know what I mean, the whole power tools thing, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Professor Black Truth with the power tools. If we're dealing with that kind of group of people, you know what I'm saying? That's what we need to, that's kind of some shit that people need to think about. You know what I'm saying? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Of cars in. They said, we're going to tax you 25% and 25% on every other product you sell into the United States. And he said, sir, do you mind if I make a phone call? It'll just take a minute. And he came back 5 minutes later and he said, sir, we'd be honored to let you have 28,000. It was rather amazing. Rather amazing. And the woman in the State Department, who's actually a very good woman, she has never won any of these things, but she was a good woman. She said, I've never seen anything like that in my life. But we also...
Hey, Trump be babbling a lot.
Long Island, they killed him with knives. They carved him up because shooting is too quick. They love to...
Hold on, wait a minute. We about to hear this.
Walking to school in Long Island, they killed him with knives. They carved him up because... Then the judge said, you can't do this. You'll destroy our country. He let it stay. He wouldn't do it, but it terminated in 6 months. And it should have never been done. And deported illegal aliens by the tens of thousands. We had MS-13, the meanest gang. They killed 2 young girls.
Now, here go my thing, right? When it comes to MS-13, are a lot of them, quote unquote, illegal? Let me ask you guys a question. As far as MS-13 goes, right? Because we all know that MS-13 is one of the largest criminal organizations in the United States, right? How do you guys think so many members of MS-13 got into the United States? How did that happen? What do you guys think? How did that occur? What about the Mexican mafia? That's my question. Here goes my issue. If you're somebody that just automatically assumes that the Central Park 5 is guilty, and if you're somebody that thinks that only the blonde, blue-eyed people in Minnesota have the quote-unquote good genetics, let me ask you guys a question. How many gold medals in the Olympics have blonde and blue eyes ever won anybody? If you have that kind of thought process, that's negative. If you have a problem with the 1619 project, that's negative. If you feel like there's good people burning the crosses and good people hanging from the nooses, there's a problem. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. The fact that you're the president and you feel that way, that right there could possibly be more dangerous than policy, because as the president, the leader of the United States, he's validating those thought processes in the people in the United States. that matters. Now, my question is, what quote unquote policy did he sign specifically to help black people, which no president has ever signed any policy specific to help black people? So my question would be, what trickle down policy did Trump do that quote unquote helped quote unquote black people? Everybody was so upset about C-19. This is the guy right here who calls himself the godfather of the vaccine. He also started Operation Warp Speed, and he allowed Dr. Fauci to lead the project. Do you guys think that Trump allowing Dr. Fauci to be the head person in charge of the C-19 initiative was a good idea? Oh yeah, that's the big homie Trump, KG. You got people associating Trump with black people because he has a mugshot, and these are Trump supporters. Well, you should care. Why would you not care? That's a policy. Operation Warp Speed was a policy. And one of the things that they did as far as Operation Warp Speed goes is that all of those initiatives for the vaccine blew a hole open in the racial wealth gap. Billionaires like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk increased their wealth by damn near double, creating an even larger racial wealth gap. Yeah. So now here's the thing, right? When we talk about stuff on this channel, the whole I don't care or you don't get to talk about that stuff doesn't fly here. We deal with facts and we deal with logic. Now, let me ask you a question. When Candace Owens questioned Trump about the vaccine and about C-19, what happened? Yep, and I agree, KG. MAGA only likes Trump because he's a bigot for their racism. Facts. I agree. Now, here goes the thing, right? You don't have to love somebody to have a business relationship, right? But in order to have a business relationship, you got to actually do business. So my question is, what good business has Trump done that has improved the living conditions of most people here in the room? Now, am I saying to vote for Trump or not to vote for Trump? No, I'm saying look at these things objective. And for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason, people tend to just overly emphasize what a lot of these people do. And what I'm telling you guys is that these people aren't doing anything. And you got to pick and choose from what it is that you can benefit from and build something off of until you have more power than these people in most cases. Oh, yeah. RJ Quick, are you a white dude? Because nobody said that Biden wasn't more racist. So I don't know why I don't know why you would say that. And honestly, we weren't even talking about Trump in terms of quote unquote racism. We're talking about Trump in terms of what he actually did that's improved people's life as of right now. The racism part can come later, right? Now, as far as Malcolm X goes, Malcolm X said that conservatives and liberals are just as racist as each other. So I think you might have just had a Freudian slip and exposed yourself. Which is cool. Everybody's welcome to watch my content. Just be intellectually honest is the only thing that I ask. That's the only thing that I ask. You know what I'm saying? Ah, that's hilarious. Shout out to Brian. Yeah, you sent like $2,000, bro. You ain't see it come out your account last night? Yeah, facts, KG. You sure did. You told us about that uneducated voter. And this is what I'm talking about right here. I mean, like, these people are the very people that are attempting to rewrite our history, and they act like we don't know our history. You don't think that everybody knows what Malcolm X said at that interview that he had at the University of California, Berkeley? Come on, RJ. Come on. I mean, this is what I'm talking about right here, right? My channel is not an echo chamber. There's people in here that are Trump supporters. There's people in here that are Cornel West supporters. There's a ton of B1 people. You know what I'm saying? We got some non-FBA people. We got some white people that watch the content. You know what I'm saying? We literally just talked about Malcolm X and watched this very video where he discussed this. Malcolm X never gave a comparison value of which white person he sees as more racist. And the reason why Malcolm X didn't give a comparison of who he sees as more racist when it comes to white people is because, for the most part, most white people are automatically integrated into WS and benefiting from it, which can be harmful to black people. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So the thing is that when you say stuff like that, you're speaking to your own bias, because you're sitting up there just assuming that you're listening to, you're drinking the Kool-Aid. You're listening to these people sit there and tell you that black people are stupid. And there's literally nobody in here that's stupid. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I think RJ just left because I got one less subscriber now. Like, this is what I'm talking about. The investment that a lot of these people have in attempting to try to derange internal politics is crazy. Bruh, there's people in here already that support Trump. Oh, no, he didn't leave. Shout out to him. The white liberal is the worst enemy to the black man. Is that what Malcolm X said? Is that what he said, word for word? Put the link in the chat to the source. Now, I got insulting? Really? Did I insult this dude? Have I insulted anybody in here? I just disagree with you. I just don't feel like there's any reason to yuck it up with any of these people. I don't think that that's insulting. Torian got the link right here. It says the white liberal is the worst enemy to America and probably, quote unquote, the black man. And I agree with Mike Mellis John. What do you disagree with? Because what I said is that Joe Biden and Trump are horrible. And so what you disagree with is that there is a benefit in yucking up with these people? I never voted either. And I'm a 42-year-old man. Just so we're on the same page. But what I asked you was a bunch of questions about how Trump had improved the life of the average black person. And if he did so much, you should easily be able to come up with 3 things. At first, you said black people. You didn't say hurt you. Let me see. And now here go my question. How many presidents made policies that hurt you directly? I'm sure there was a lot of black people that weren't affected by the 94 crime bill. Does that mean that Biden wasn't bad because if you weren't affected by the 94 crime bill, you don't care? Okay, you said that put in place that affected me or black people's negatively. Yeah, I agree. Obama, Biden, and Bill are horrible, but Trump is just as bad. There's literally nobody in the political system that's going to save anybody from anything. I think that people get too emotionally invested in this. Okay, yeah, I agree with you that he is bad. I just don't understand why people try to cape for him and shit. I don't understand like caping for any of these politicians. I don't get it. To me, it doesn't make any sense. Like there's no value in it. Like Biden isn't a doso. This dude is a descendant of slave owners. He's a clear racist. Oh, okay. RJ says, never said that. To me, he's your typical redneck or white man. I believe the Democrats to be more dangerous. I can respect that. I ain't mad at that. The only thing that I disagree with is I think that they're both equally dangerous, just in different ways. But I can respect that comment. I got to check it out. I'm going to go check you out, KG. And if you guys agree with Alonzo, give me a thumbs up. Alonzo says, we have no friends, only enemies and backstabbers. I agree. And I agree with you, RJ. I don't disagree with that at all. Liberals absolutely do act like they're our friends. Now, let me ask you a question. How would you classify the whole clown show of people acting like Trump has something in common with the black community because of the mugshot thing? Or like this I don't know if you saw it, they came out with some rap song about Trump. What do you think about that? All right, you ain't no white dude. I believe you. And you was right about the Malcolm X quote too. I gotta give you that. You know what I'm saying? But my question is, how you feel about that though? What do you think about that? Do you think that the Republicans are gonna try to start pandering? Because if you ask me, honestly, what I think is about to happen is I think that the parties are about to somewhat switch roles. Yeah, it is a lot of black people supporting Trump. And again, I don't have no, this ain't no channel where anybody will get shamed for whoever they support. You know what I'm saying? I just ask questions. You know what I'm saying? I don't support Cornel West, but it's a lot of people on the channel that support Cornel West. You know what I'm saying? I just ask questions. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, if you ask me, if for people that actually plan on voting, if they're looking at issues, I do think that a lot of the issues that are combating us, conservative policies do a better job of providing benefits to white people that will, by proxy, improve situations that we have, like Trump's border policy. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. You know what I'm saying? And I agree, RJ. It's trash. Big facts.
Knives, walking to school in Long Island. They killed them with knives. They carved them up because shooting is too quick. They love using knives. They're sick. And by the way, we have people in ICE and Border Patrol. They're unbelievable. They're patriots. They're incredible. If we didn't have them, this country would be overrun. They don't get enough credit. And they'll run into a nest of, they call them a nest, and they'll run, and you'll see those fists. And I have a lot of friends that are in these front rows, and some of them are tough, but they don't want this job. This is not for them, I will tell you. But these guys are tough,
Yeah,
and smart.
Yeah, I agree with that, Agent Black. If you guys agree with Agent Black, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please take a moment. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, make sure you guys hit the bell and share the stream to your social media. We almost at 100. Shout out to RJ for not leaving too. It said that I had lost a subscriber. I was like, man, this motherfucker RJ bounced.
And incredible patriots, and it's a very dangerous living, but they do an incredible job. We took them out by the thousands and thousands. And you know, when I first came, I said, no, we have to bring them back to their country of origin. And they said, sir, they won't accept them. Under President Obama, they wouldn't accept them. They would actually put airplanes on the runway so you couldn't land the plane loaded up with gang members. And
so how does this work? If what Trump is saying is true, how does this work? How can you deliver or deport people back to the country of origin, right? He said, that's what I'm saying. I look at the damage now. I was listening, but on Google for that quote. You were scrambling like, man, fuck this nigga. I ain't mad at it, though. You pulled it clutch. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at it.
Very bad people, prisoners, came into our country. And I said, how much money do we give these countries? Sir, $750 million a year. That's a lot. They said $750 million. All right, ended immediately. And the next morning, all three called me up separately. Sir, there seems to be a miscommunication. What's the problem? I said, you're not taking back your people that came illegally into our country.
So see, look at this. This is what I'm interested in, right? Because my question for real, and this is what I'm talking about them countries that allow this to happen. You know that they're allowing it to happen if when they catch the people and bring them back to the country, they won't even take these people back in their own country. If what Trump is saying is true, right? Like if what he's saying is true and they won't even take these people back into their own country, that's a problem and that's weird. How is that okay? So now imagine the quality of people that these got to be, right? If they won't even take them back into their own country. What's up with that? That's what I'm saying about they need to have some type of control as far as allowing these people to come to America from the country that they're from. And when there's too many people coming in, United States need to do something to deter the country from allowing those people to come. Like, yo, we about to hit y'all with some sanctions, or y'all getting military aid cut in half or something. Eddie said Trump and Clinton tricked black people with the saxophone and Puff Daddy. Let me we actually got to talk about that at some point one of these days. Let me ask you guys a question. How does somebody get tricked by stuff like that? And my question is, if you get tricked by stuff like that, do you deserve the outcomes that you get? I know this is going to sound really bad. This is going to sound bad. You know what I'm saying? But I truly believe this. If you fall for that stupid shit, then you deserve the stupid shit that you get. I don't feel bad for anybody that got tricked with a goddamn saxophone. I know that sounds fucked up. But if you ask me, what's more fucked up is that people actually got tricked by a fucking saxophone. You know what I'm saying? That's wild to me. Like, the whole way that people been going through politics is crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, facts. No different than the PC who fell to the No Richmond, North of Richmond song. But yeah, facts. Or Jason Aldean. Carson said off cold media alert. I'm serious though. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I agree. And see, like, if you ask me, I agree with you, Torian. Both sides love symbolism. And if you ask me, political racism is white people symbolism. White politicians know that if they deliver the symbolism of anti-blackness and racism to white people, they'll fall for it like a bunch of bugs outside of a fluorescent light. That's what Vivek Ramaswamy trolling the hell out of white people right now. He got to be sitting somewhere thinking like, man, I'm playing these people like a puppet. They're literally ignoring all of the suspect stuff that I've done. And all I have to do is talk about black people, and I have these simpletons under my spell. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. Vivek Ramaswamy has to have backroom conversations just going in on white people with how easily he's manipulating them. I mean, I would if I was him. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, yo, all I got to do with these motherfuckers is just tell them about black people, and they'll do anything. They've given me millions of dollars. If I had known all I had to do was talk about white people or talk about black people to these people, I'd have been doing this. I wouldn't even start no biochemical company. You know what I'm saying?
We want you to take them back. Sure, we would be honored to take them back. We would love to have MS-13 back in our country, sir. Sure, when will the payments start? It's amazing. I mean, we just don't use the powers that we have. We have tremendous economic powers that we don't use. That includes with China. We took in
right. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, why would it? Man, listen. Was that Richard Nixon that said that? They probably could have had a beer with Bush, Gwen, especially if they was paying. Oh, it was Lyndon B. Johnson. Oh, okay. Hey, shout out to Percy Earl III. Percy Earl III said, Black Democratic voters fell for the let me just put the head in narrative for 60 years. Yo, that's wild and facts. Let me just put the head in, man. That's facts.
money with China than anybody. Nobody has ever even come close. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars with China. They were dumping steel, ruining our steel industry. They were doing things that we shouldn't have done. And I put tariffs of 25 and 50% on them, different products coming in. And we took in hundreds of billions of dollars. And those tariffs are still on, you know. Biden doesn't have the courage. There's so much money coming in. And he shouldn't. I guess they're probably trying to end it, but they're not able to because it's just so powerful, so much, hundreds of billions of dollars. No other president took in 10 cents from China. But I will also use Title 42 to end the child trafficking crisis by returning all trafficked children to their families in their home countries immediately.
So, I mean, he's talking about kids, but, you know, Trump saying, he's saying what everybody wants to hear. Trump said, Trump saying what everybody wants to hear. I'm about to return people to their home countries out here. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, players and pimps, that was actually supposed to be a short Undocumented Bros little segment there, and it ended up being the same time as they always are. Don't worry, we're still going to talk about this next video about how life is never going to be the same. So I invite everyone to not move a muscle. Just stay where you are. Give me about 5 minutes and we will be right back. All right. So I appreciate everybody that has watched the stream. We had a stream sponsor this stream. So shout out to Jim's Eye View. And like I said, make sure y'all go check her channel out. Jim's Eye View is also a content creator, you know what I'm saying? And she does great content, you know what I'm saying? So please make sure y'all go check her channel out. All right. Shout out to my man RJ and shout out to Eddie Lee for the good dialogues that we had. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. I'll be back. All right. About 5 minutes. Don't move a muscle. I will catch you all in a few. Peace.